Welcome to Business Focus, a production of the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, LJ Wilson, and today we have Joe Crawford. He's the Executive Director of Fairfax YMCA, Fairfax County, Reston. Mr. Crawford is going to talk to us about the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce Healthy Workplace Kickoff Rally. Thank you for coming to Business Focus.
Thank you, LJ. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So this is a very exciting event, and we really want to get the community involved in it. But before we do that, and before we give them all the great details, can you tell me about yourself?
Yeah, well, my name's Joe. I run the YMCA here in Fairfax County, Reston. Fun fact is it's the only YMCA in Fairfax County. We happen to be here in Reston, located geographically. But we have about 3,000 families or about 10,000 members that we serve daily. It's a big responsibility for the Y, but one we take on with open arms because our core values in youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility are just the biggest part of everything that we do to service the families that come to the Y.
Well, Joe, with the Y as the hosting supporter of this year's Healthy Workplace Initiative Kickoff Rally, can you tell me why it's important to the YMCA Fairfax County Reston to be involved in this event?
Definitely. When we were approached by the Chamber for the Healthy Workplace Initiative, it's just something that parallels everything that we do in healthy living, from working out daily on an individual basis all the way up to supporting employer groups, small, medium, and large in Reston, to empower their employees and their workforce at all levels to have a healthy lifestyle, not just work out, not just eat healthy, but to take on all the habits that make up a whole, well-rounded one person.
Which is very hard to do. And that's really great that you guys are getting involved in that, because it is a lifestyle change. It's not just eating the correct things, but changing everything with the family and everything and how you eat, just period. So that's really good to know. So can you tell me, why is it important for employers to think of their health status for their team members in the new millennium?
That's a great question. You know, specifically to Reston, the workforce is always changing. It's always growing. There's new jobs. I believe the next generation that's coming along after the millennials is the Z generation, I think is what they're calling it. But I think what you'll see, specifically to Reston and the Chamber and all the other local businesses that grow in Reston, in order to live, work, and play in this community, you have to adapt and you have to be relevant to the needs of an employer and an employer, so it creates a well-rounded team member. That becomes just so much more relevant to why employees pick jobs, but also why they stay there. And I think the Healthy Workplace Initiative and the YMCA is something that people can really rally around for a place to be.
I think also it'll help with retention when you're trying to keep those really good employees.
Definitely. I mean, everything that the Chamber and the Y do, it's all about relationships. So when people feel that closeness and that connectivity, or what we call it in the Y is stickiness, it keeps people around, and that's what we want in Reston.
What can attendees expect at this event?
Well, it's a free event, so it's on a Friday. Everybody's welcome. It's open to the community, so even if you find out about it late on Thursday night, by all means, show up at the Y. It's on the teen center portion of the gym, so you just come through the front doors, and the team members will lead you in the right direction. But when you get there, I think you can expect a really first-class experience from local businesses, again, small, medium, and large, that are really coming together to do something from a healthy living perspective for their employees on an individual level, but also a large level where there'll be interactions with the other vendor booths, the other companies there. You can kind of motivate other people and duplicate some ideas from what small, medium, large businesses are doing to really engage their employees and be a part of that all at the Y at the same time. So
what is your advice to companies who feel they do not have the time to implement healthy initiatives in the workplace?
You know, I think you really have to challenge your leadership at the local level and at the corporate level, if you will, because you got to make the time. I think the most valuable asset, the most universal thing that we always talk about, whether you're in the nonprofit, Fortune 100, 500 world, whatever business you're in, time is always the most invaluable asset. So you've got to intentionally make time for your employees because that's what, again, creates that stickiness of why they would want to spend time at a place. So you've got to make the time to come out and be intentional with your efforts to engage your employees.
So, how is the YMC helping to engage businesses to push a healthy lifestyle besides this event? For example, discounted memberships for companies that commit to pushing a healthy lifestyle to their employees. Is that one of the things that you're participating in, or could you just give me some examples?
Sure. Well, after the initiative, the Healthy Lifestyles and the Healthy Living Foundation that the Y creates as one of our core values, or even pillars of doing business, is to always follow through with the things that we say we're going to do. That's paramount to everything, especially in the tenet of healthy living. Primarily, the Y will always work with small, medium, large businesses to do corporate accounts, memberships, to sell memberships so that everybody has access to a place in the Y for their healthy living goals, despite their inability to pay. And that's always a unique situation, because when you pick a healthy living partner, price is always one of those determining factors that affects a family. And so at the Y, we never turn anybody away based off of that inability to pay for those services.
It's very nice to know.
So everybody has the place. And on top of that, we've been very intentional again, especially in 2015, to how the Y could be a better community partner for those businesses. Can we bring classes, mind, body, yoga experiences to your bank, to your entrepreneurial place of business, and really take our reach and expand it, other than the fact that, people only drive so far to exercise.
Yes.
So really just creating a worksite wellness solution that lives beyond the initiative so that we can follow through with the things that we say we're going to do.
So how can HR representatives get their company involved in this initiative? I hear there's a survey of some sort. Can you explain that?
Yeah, well, after the initiative, we'll have a survey, but I think the human resource department for any organizations is the key to success, because it's the vehicle that moves the sharing of information along. What I always challenge HR professionals to do is be an advocate, whether it's an HR team or an HR manager, to be their wellness champion, to make sure that their team members have the access to information, and then what they choose to do with it is completely up to them. But the HR leader, if you will, or even core champion for their healthy living initiatives, are always the legs or the wheels to the vehicle that move the information forward out to the employees. So without that, the employees aren't shared the information. So for all HR professionals, it's just the nature of, you don't have to knock it out of the park the first time, but just take it piece by piece and share it and pass it along to your fellow coworkers.
So Joe, can you tell the folks at home and local business owners why they should participate in this event?
The biggest reason to participate in the Workplace Healthy Initiative kickoff is just to stay relevant.
Exactly.
So many businesses, again, they're growing, they're changing, they're right-sizing, even some of them, is that if we look at human capital and say that our employees are our most valuable asset, then you have to be intentional with that time we talked about at the beginning and invest it back into your team members, because that's what keeps Reston a unique place to live, and where people want to make time to spend there.
Well, Joe, thank you for joining me today. If you are interested in learning more about the Healthy Workplace Kickoff Rally, which takes place September 25th, 2015 from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the YMCA Fairfax County Reston, please visit www.restonchamber.org. Again, this is Joe Crawford, Executive Director of YMCA Fairfax County Reston. I'm your host, LJ Wilson, and thank you for joining us for Business Focus.